in August, Dennis and I went to Syria, Lebanon, Israel and Palestine, immediately after the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. And we walked through at 9:30 at night, through the villages of South Lebanon. We'd gone through them all day, but at 9:30 we went to Cana, which is the town of biblical law where Jesus is said to have performed his first miracle. Now in Cana, I don't know if you heard or saw the images, but Cana was pretty much obliterated. But there was one particular place which had a great level of destruction, where a 1,000-pound bomb fell on a house where women and children, many disabled people, were crouching in the basement, and tens upon tens of them just died. But Dennis and I really wanted to go there. We really wanted to pay our respects for the people and really, express our grief with them. So we didn't get there till, as I say, about 9:30 at night. And when we pulled up, there were no lights or anything. So the lights on our vehicle shone on a square which had been created and concreted over with lines of crosses on it. And on each cross was a picture of a person or a family who had died in that bombing. So with the lights of the vehicle shining above and onto this area, Dennis and I slowly walked through and paid our respects to each of those who lost their lives in that bomb. And as we were there, a small group of people gathered. And Dennis actually stood in front of one of these stations, these crosses, where there was a picture of this little boy who was wearing a red sweater. And he must have been about 3 years old, and it was a beautiful picture, obviously very proud parents, beautiful haircut, smiley face, and you just wanted to love this child when you saw this picture and smile, and then you realised that that child is dead. And that was too much for Dennis and I to bear, really. As we walked through, we just became overcome. We just started to cry, just gently weep without making a fuss. And an arm reached out to Dennis and put his hand around Dennis's shoulder. And after a moment or two, he walked Dennis over 2 crosses and he pointed to a picture of the late children. And he said, "This was my family." And he was comforting Dennis, who he knew was a member of the United linking arms or hands, whatever they were doing. And he took us up onto the road and led us round this small pathway, down a little alleyway, past a house or two, over a big mound of rubble. It was all dark, so we had to tread very carefully, and into this crater. And this was the crater where the bomb had exploded. And very, very quickly, as you would imagine, the word spread that a member of Congress was here in town, and a crowd of about 50 or 60 people gathered, mainly men. A few women who I spoke with on the sidelines, and I played with the children as Dennis spoke through interpreters to this group of gentlemen. And somebody drove a car around the back of the hill and drove it up so that the area was lit. So we stood there in darkness, but the area was lit by one car. And one of the first things that the crowd said, and a number of them said it, was, "Please," and they begged, "please tell the American people that we love them. Please tell the American people that we understand that it's not them who's doing this. Please tell the American people we know that the media is not covering the stories, that we don't like what your government is doing, but we love the American people." This capacity for heart, for compassion, to look outside the grief and extraordinary tragedy of their own experiences, to connect and reach out to another nation in grief, but with love, really, really transformed Dennis's and my life. Because we can say that we've been to a place where in the media we're told that these people are terrorists, that they hate us, that they hate Israel, that they hate. And yet we experience this amazing level of transformation, this amazing capacity of humanity out of desperate loss. These people would point out to us as we travelled through the villages of South Lebanon, this house, that belonged to so-and-so, they live in Michigan. This house, well, wasn't a house then, everything was destroyed. But the people who used to live there, they live in Michigan. The people who live there, they live in such and such a place. This is a place where Arab American, Lebanese Americans come to holiday. It's a beautiful place in Lebanon, on the border. And yet everywhere was destroyed. Homes, entire villages, entire towns, cemeteries, churches, mosques, sports stadiums, you name it, it was all gone. And yet the capacity for humanity to reach out was there. And it's that level of humanity that I really want to express through the 9-10 Forum, to really show people here how we could have responded and how we can still respond, and the level of heart that we can still show the rest of the world, and the level of empathy that we can develop in order to truly be compassionate, to be able to reach out to somebody else and understand that in my loss and in my suffering is also the loss and suffering of somebody in Iraq or in Afghanistan or in Lebanon or in Israel or in Palestine, all of these areas, that we're all connected, that we're all a family. And this truly is the message that we want to bring to the American people in this presidential campaign. This is the world which is waiting to step forward, is waiting for us to call it into existence. And there is somebody who has dedicated his entire political career to get to this moment, to be ready to become the president. So thank you so very much for listening to me.